Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, live and direct from a Wednesday afternoon and live and direct from Firekeeper Golf Course in lovely Mayetta, home to the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament this morning and afternoon. Flight 1 was this morning. Flight 2 is underway on what is presently a bit of a blustery day for golf, but you'd take wind over the rain that interrupted proceedings for about 30 to 45 minutes earlier this morning, and that your pal, me, Dan Lucero, narrowly missed getting caught up in. But we're dry. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day for golf. It's always a great day for golf. Firekeeper Golf Course over at Prairie Band Casino and Resort up north of Topeka on Highway 75 in Mayetta. And that's where we are today for this live edition of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Brendan Rosinski is here. Brendan, great to have you.
Good to see you, pal.
And Spencer Dupuis will be with us as well today. We're looking forward to having him as part of the program today. The gang's all here for a wonderful day of 580 Sports Talk. We are with you for the next 2.5 hours here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And in living color on our YouTube stream. You can catch us on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. You can also watch us on YouTube as well. On Facebook, rather, at WIBW News. Great to be with you until 5:30 when we will, once again, for the third straight day, hand it off to the Royals Baseball Network. Royals trying to avoid a sweep in Beantown tonight. Game 3 against the Boston Red Sox after last night's 6-2 defeat. The Royals will turn to Michael Wacha to try and avoid a sweep and salvage a 500 road trip. First pitch at 6:10. Pregame coverage on the Royals Baseball Network coming up at 5:30. So we are with you until then. And we're jam-packed today. We have got a lot to get to and half an hour less than we typically have to get it to you. So we will talk some Royals baseball. We'll get into that 6-2 loss last night. There was some good. Ryan Bergert made a much better first impression than Bailey Falter did on Monday night. Unfortunately,
how many times did you make the faltered pun yesterday?
I simply left it at the first one. I said last night Bailey faltered.
I would have said it every single time I opened my mouth.
Yeah, it kind of writes itself.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate last name for an athlete. And this is not a unique thought because back during the Pittsburgh series, when they had Pittsburgh in town, so I was listening to those games. That was when I was down at Big 12 Football Media Day. So I was listening to that would have been the Wednesday night game on the way back from Oklahoma City or Dallas on my way through Oklahoma City,
Frisco.
And yes, and I'm listening to those games, and Denny is talking. Denny Matthews and Jake Eisenberg are talking about the pitcher with the last name Falter, and the idea that is up there with being a kicker and having the last name Blewett, or
Chris Blewett,
yes,
Pitt legend,
yes, or the former Major League Baseball reliever Grant Balfour. I think it was pronounced Balfour, but it looked like Balfour.
You don't want it to look that way.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, it is not a unique thought to say that perhaps there are better last names for an athlete to have than Falter. The puns do kind of write themselves. But Ryan Bergert, he was the Bergert King last night for 5 and 2.
Now we're talking.
There we go.
That was a whopper of an outing last night.
It really was. One of the very best of his career, one of the longest, in fact, of the 25-year-old rookie's career. Unfortunately, the bullpen was not so spectacular. If Ryan Bergert was the whopper, the bullpen came out. They were the Yumbo. They were the they were the lesser light. It's good to have you here, Brendan.
Missed this. Yeah.
The bullpen, John Schreiber, Angel Zerpa, let the Royals down a little bit last night, and it was Schreiber last night, Zerpa the night before, and the Royals fall 6-2. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but mostly the good, because there was a lot to like about Ryan Bergert's outing last night. Plenty of Chiefs talk to get to today. There are 30 days, until Chiefs kickoff. 30 days until the Chiefs and the Chargers open the 2025 season with their game in Brazil. And there are 2 number 30s on the active roster, the camp roster right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. And what's fascinating is that both of them are kind of on the fringes of the 53-man roster. I think if you're one of them, you're feeling a lot better than the other. But we'll talk about the 2 number 30s for the Chiefs today. Brashard Smith, where he might fit in the offense, and Chris Roland-Wallace and how he might factor in and why he's a player that did last the full 17 weeks on the active roster last year, and a player who maybe has a chance to make the roster again. So we'll talk about those 2 number 30s as our Chiefs countdown to kickoff continues. We're going to talk some Big 12 football on the program today. CBS Sports yesterday releasing their Power 136, first power rankings of the season, where K-State, KU, the rest of the Big 12 teams rank. We'll chew on that a little bit. And, of course, because it is a Wednesday, we'll chat with Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com for our Wildcat Wrap-up. Fitz will join us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We will talk all things K-State as football camp continues in Manhattan. He's one of 2 guests today. Our other guest, of course, is the great Mitch Holthus. He'll join us at 5:15 this afternoon, right before we go off the air. Mitch Holthus for a training camp report presented by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. That's coming up at 5:15. Today's featured player, I left the people in some suspense last time around. I'm not going to do it again this time. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we're talking about Leo Chanel today.
All right.
And I'm really fascinated that when Mitch left us, he said this is the defensive player he's most excited about for 2025. So we're going to find out what's got Mitch so fired up about the 4th-year pro out of Wisconsin, because I think it's a big year for him. Obviously, this is the year where the Chiefs find out whether he's worth a second contract as a non-first-round pick. He becomes a free agent after the season. Does he get a second contract with the Chiefs? So we'll talk about Leo Chanel later on the program. Plus, our typical Wednesday shenanigans. We'll have our 580 Sports Talk headlines in the 5 o'clock hour. Another round of What Is Wrong With You. We'll play One Gotta Go later on this hour as well. We want to hear from you. The text line is open. You can text us at 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us in the live chat on our YouTube stream. If you are watching us on YouTube and seeing the wind rattle my laptop camera a little bit, you can jump into the chat. Again, the name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, today would be a great day to amend that and go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because last time I checked, we're only 25 subscribers away from you and me arm wrestling, Brendan. On
Hell
camera.
Yeah.
We're getting
I'm
close.
ready.
We're getting close. We're adding like a new subscriber a day. Who's our hero today that's going to go subscribe to our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk? Good afternoon to Christopher. Mark H. is in the chat. Paul, good to see you guys. Vance is in as well. Appreciate each and every one of you. Look forward to hearing from more of you as we go along here on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. So yesterday, when we were talking about Bailey Falter's Royals debut, I wanted to know what would be different about the new pitcher coming to the organization, because the Royals aren't afraid to tinker right away. When they bring a guy into the organization and they get him to the big league level, like they did last year with Michael Lorenzen to a good deal of success, they're not shy about tinkering with a pitcher's repertoire, grips, sequencing, that kind of stuff. The thing that was real different about Bailey Falter's outing, his Royals debut on Monday, was that he threw his slider more than he'd ever thrown it in an outing, at least this season with the Pirates. Unfortunately, one of those sliders got thwacked over the fence for a 3-run home run that kind of broke the ball game open early on, but it was obviously a very intentional change in repertoire that the Royals believe that Bailey Falter's slider is going to be something that they want to see him throw a little more often. So what did we see from Ryan Bergert last night, the 25-year-old right-hander who came over from San Diego in the trade that also brought Stephen Kolek to the Royals organization and sent Freddie Fermin out to the West Coast? Well, what we saw, and Royals Review had this on social last night, both X and Blue Sky, noted that on Baseball Savant, which keeps this kind of data, Ryan Bergert's sweeper. Now, he's got 2 breaking pitches. He's got the more traditional slider, and he's got the sweeper. Slider tends to be a tighter break, maybe a little bit more velocity. Sweeper tends to be a little bit more horizontal break. Maybe it's thrown slower. It can depend and differ from pitcher to pitcher. But Ryan Bergert's sweeper last night had 4 extra inches of break and 2 extra inches of sink compared to his season averages going into his outing last night against the Red Sox. And either that's a wild coincidence, Royals Review wrote on social, or Brian Sweeney and company work really fast. I am inclined to believe it's the latter. I think we have evidence that these guys are tinkerers. These guys, they don't bring anybody to the organization by accident. I don't think Ryan Bergert and Bailey Falter and Stephen Kolek are Royals by accident. I don't think the Royals picked those guys out of hats. I think the Royals saw something in those guys that they believed could help them in the long term and that they could refine to help them even more as pitchers in the long term. Ryan Bergert's thing that he does, his trait that has made him a big league pitcher, he can spin the ball. Like, the ball spins a lot. They measure RPM, spin rate. He's got spin rate that is top of the pops, like really good spin rate. So if you're spinning the ball well, obviously you're going to lean on pitches that spin. You're going to lean on that sweeper. You're going to lean on that slider. And if they have tweaked his sweeper to give it even more separation and more movement from his slider, it's going to make it that much more intriguing a pitch. Bergert's not as young as you think for being a guy in his first full big league season. He's already 25, but again, we're talking about, like we were talking about with Bailey Falter and his extension, how much he gets extended off the mound. That's his elite trait. That's the thing from which the Royals are hoping they can mold something that is better than the fifth starter that Falter has been in his career. For Bergert, it's spin. And we saw him be really effective with spin last night over one of the longest outings, or in fact, the longest outing of his career. A really promising debut for the right-hander.
The initial thought that comes to mind talking about this staff and wanting to correct or fix or tinker or explore, experiment, whatever you want to phrase, how much or how badly do you think these guys hated working with Brady Singer? A guy who absolutely, under any circumstance, refused to change for more than about 18 innings of work. It was like, no. Keep throwing the same two pitches over and over. I'm just not. Thanks for the advice. I'm not going to listen to it.
I can't. It's too hard.
Yeah, that I can't imagine working with a guy like that when you have this core idea in mind. And no, I'm just not going to change it. Not going to do anything different. That would drive me up a wall, frankly, if I was Sweeney and company. So you take a look at this start from Bergert, and it's kind of hard to do this when the bullpen did what the bullpen did last night. Mm-hmm. But I think it gives you a little bit more, and I don't know if anyone's lacking confidence in the plan here for the Royals and for J.J. Picollo, but it gives you a little bit more of a glimpse into why they put this plan together, not to completely punt on 2025 for the sake of the future, but to say, hey, let's put 2026 at the forefront of our mind. We're not going to punt on this year. We've still got a chance. We're not giving up. But that being said, we're going to take a shot on a couple of arms who've got control, who we think we can fine-tune to a point where they are going to be more successful for us going forward. Where they can either be, worst case scenario, a suitable long relief option, or even better, a consistent starting option. Now, I don't know what Bergert's going to be. Maybe it's just one start. Eric Skoglund was the best pitcher in baseball for one start, and then he turned into maybe the worst pitcher in baseball the rest of his career.
Practice.
Yeah, so it's one start. It's small sample size. Treat this like it's the first week of April, the final week of March. That being said, the initial returns are positive enough. Again, it gives you a glimpse into what this team, what this front office is angling to do in the long run. I love this plan. I've said it at the time on deadline day. I love what Picollo's idea for the future for this Royals team is. And I'm glad to see some of that come to volition and to see a little vindication. Again, not that anyone necessarily is lacking confidence in JJ, but to see a little vindication that, hey, this is the plan. This is the idea. It's going to work. I like that kind of confidence.
It wasn't an overpowering final line for Bergert in his 5 2/3 innings. He was charged with 2 runs. Only one of those scored while he was on the mound. The other was inherited. 2 runs on 2 hits, walked 2, struck out only 2. It felt like more than that because of the amount of strikes he was throwing. He was very efficient, only at 83 pitches in that 5 2/3 inning stretch. But the other thing too, is not just that the sweeper looked like a different pitch. It was also the pitch that he leaned on very frequently. I'm looking at his pitch percentage by game this season, and the sweeper last night, he threw 27% of the time, which was almost as often as he threw his four-seam fastball. He threw that 32% of the time. In his previous start as a San Diego Padre, he threw his sweeper 7% of the time. A 20% increase in how often you're throwing a certain pitch. That's what the Royals do. That is what that they're going to try and get out of guys, and I like it. I like the plan. Like you said, I think that, you acquire these pitchers with all of this team control, and then you get them under your purview, and you've got a chance to develop guys who are still young, still early in their major league careers. And Bergert, I think, of the three, Falter, Kolek, and Bergert, who were acquired at the trade deadline, I think Bergert's got the chance to be the best of the three. One, he's the youngest, but two, again, you can spin the baseball the way that Bergert can. That gives you an opportunity to be pretty good because it gives you a chance to have good life on your fastball and good action on your breaking pitches. And he's had success with his fastball and his breaking pitches. Both of them have been above average in run value this year, and what's given him an opportunity to post a 2.83 earned run average in his first 41 and a third big league innings, despite only having 36 strikeouts, not striking guys out at an elite rate, but still having the kind of success that he's having because he's limited hard contact. Another thing that you can do because the other thing spin does is it provides deception, particularly with the fastball. You're spinning your fastball, it looks like it has a little ride, moves up, and it's harder for hitters to square up. So I'm really intrigued by Bergert. Color me even more intrigued after what we saw last night.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there. I'm with you in terms of who is the best long-term option. That's not the right way to phrase it, but like who's got the highest ceiling of that group, essentially. And I think it's pretty clearly Bergert. Early returns, positive, hard to complain too much about that. Now, the game itself, well, there's plenty to complain about, unfortunately. But you see the vision, and at a point in the year when the Royals are almost like frustratingly on the fringes of wild card contention, I mean, they played really well the last month. They've got the third best record in the American League over the last month. But when they're clearly not one of the lead horses to get into that wild card race, you can see some of the vision for the long term, and that's at least a positive place to be.
Unfortunately, the bullpen made a bit of a mess of things last night once Bergert was removed. Angel Zerpa came in to face the lefty Wilyer Abreu, immediately gave up a double and a go-ahead single to Trevor Story that made it 3-1, and then the game got really out of hand after the Royals had clawed a run back on Randall Grichuk's RBI double in the seventh. John Schreiber in the game gets two quick outs. He walks David Hamilton, gives up a hit to Jarren Duran. Initially scored an error on Bobby Witt Jr. Would have been a tough error. The ball was a rocket.
Yep.
And it's one of those that in the parlance of baseball, it ate Bobby up. At the same time, that's a Gold Glover at short. You'd like to believe, he was positioned right. He was in the right spot to get to the ball. It ate him up, but that's a play you'd like to make. But then you got to pick your guy up if you can't make a play, and Schreiber couldn't do that. He walked Bregman and then gave up the bloop single to Abreu. It was a chintzy hit, but chintzy hits are still hits.
Line drive in the box score.
And you can make those chintzy hits hurt a lot less when the bases aren't loaded with two outs when you're giving them up. So Boston obviously would tag on one more, and there was nothing that could be done for the Royals after that. They managed just 2 runs on 5 hits last night. It's a classic example of running into a hot team at the wrong time. That is kind of where the Royals have fallen with this series with the Red Sox. They've now won 7 in a row and look like a real serious threat to potentially, certainly a more serious threat than the Yankees right now, who have just the most rancid vibes you could imagine. They look like a more serious threat to run down Toronto and maybe overtake the Blue Jays in the East after the Blue Jays start playing a real baseball team again there in Denver this week. So
nobody hates the Rockies quite like a Rockies fan.
No, I hate them with my whole entire life. It's because I love them, is why I hate them. Anyway, this is the Royals run into a hot team at a bad time, and they need to salvage a win tonight to salvage a 500 road trip. And I said when the road trip began, 500 on these first 6 games, because you got the ghost ship that is the Minnesota Twins over the weekend. 500 to the first portion of this road trip would be fine because it'd give you a chance to have a winning road trip. 500, this is the last, I said it was the last treading water portion of the schedule where it doesn't line up for you to go 4-2 or 5-1. You're playing really good teams away from home. This is the last really tough stretch of road games like that. 3-3 would be an acceptable outcome. They got to get the Michael Wacha that showed up in Toronto on Friday night. The other interesting thing about tonight's matchup for the Royals and the Red Sox is that the Royals will be sending out a lineup that Jonathan India is a part of, but in a way that he has not been a part of it all season long. He is not tonight batting in the leadoff spot. He will instead bat 7th with Mike Yastrzemski, the new guy, hitting in the leadoff spot. I like the move by Matt Contreras.
I agree with that. The thing about India, and I feel like he's caught a lot of flack, especially over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, there's a difference between a smart move and a move working out. Those are two different things. And in the case of trading Brady Singer for Jonathan India 1-for-1, that was a good move. That move made sense for everybody. Cincinnati needed pitching. The Royals had a wealth of pitching.
Everybody trading from a position of depth.
Yeah. It felt like a win-win trade. And the Royals had to have somebody who was at least competent in that number 1 spot. And that's what they thought they were getting.
And has Jonathan India been an upgrade to what the Royals had last year in the leadoff spot? Yes. But that is more about how abysmal they were in the leadoff spot last year than it is about how good India's been this year, because he hasn't been particularly good. A 322 on base. Like I said it when they made the move. I'm not going to be fussed about his batting average. I'm not going to be fussed about his slug because it's not his power is not his thing. Bat to ball is not his thing. Jonathan India has pro at bats and he gets on base, and they need somebody to get on base. He has not gotten on base at the level that the Royals frankly expected. He's been a sub replacement level contributor to this Royals team. When you factor in his defense, he's been one of the worst defensive players in baseball. This has been a move that has not worked out for the Royals.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than what the Royals had last year, but gangrene's better than malaria too. I still wouldn't want it. Like that's not really a glowing endorsement of what Jonathan India has been. So I like mixing it up. Again, you are to some degree on the fringes of contention for a playoff spot here. Mix it up. Yastrzemski's been good he's given you a little bit of a spark anyway since coming over. He had the big home run the other day. I'm cool with this. Try something else. I can understand people who say, well, why don't you just move Bobby up to number 1? Well, because you want Witt in the position where he can drive guys in and et cetera, et cetera. I'm all for making a move. It's unfortunate that they just haven't had enough batting depth all year that we had to wait until August 6th to finally make a switch there.
It's also about history with the starting pitcher tonight. Red Sox are sending Dustin May, the former Dodger, out to make his Red Sox debut, and nobody on the active roster has seen May more than Yastrzemski, which makes sense coming from the National League West.
Yep.
And in 13 at-bats, which is not a significant sample size by any stretch, but it is still 13 at-bats, which is 10 more than anybody else has seen Dustin May. Mike Yastrzemski's career OPS against the red-headed right-hander is over 1,000. So, again, this is a bit of playing the matchups. You're trusting a small sample size, but it's the kind of thing I think you have to do.
Did you know that through marriage, Dustin May is a distant relative of former ESPN commentator and Pitt Panther offensive lineman Mark May?
No.
Yeah, because I made it up. But it's really funny if that was the case. No, I mean, it's worth it to try something new. And again, I mean, Yastrzemski's been – I would rather see him get an extra at bat and come to the plate 5 times than Jonathan India today. I'm good on the India thing.
Yeah, I that's kind of where I'm at too. Like I don't think he ought to be the automatic number 1 hitter in the order every day. I don't think you write him in there with Penn anymore. I think if that's a privilege, it's one he's probably lost or probably worn out as well. And this can be a conversation that waits. Like there's a lot that can happen in 2 months of baseball, but they're going to have a difficult conversation about whether they tender him a contract in his final year arbitration, Jonathan India, because I don't think he's going to be cheap. given experience and what he has produced in his big league career. I don't think he's going to be a guy you get for like 1.5, 2 million in arbitration. And the Royals afford to give him a significant chunk of money in arbitration when he doesn't really have a positional home, when you may as well just turn second base back over to Michael Massey. Like,
no, thank you. I'm good.
Okay,
I'll pass.
You're
on
good
that.
off Michael Massey.
Well, and there's the problem too, is that the way the Royals are constructed and will continue to be constructed with, look who is going to be back in the rotation next year. Okay, Bergert's going to have a chance there. You're going to get Reagan's back next year, hopefully healthy. Waka's going to be back for another year. Lugo is going to be back for another year. These are good pitchers, but you know what you don't have a ton of? And Reagan's brings this to the table, but you know what you don't have a ton of? Dudes who are just going to like strike out 10 guys every time they go out and just overpower you with stuff. And especially given the park and the type of pitchers you have, you want to have a plus defense behind you. And I think for a long time, the Royals steered too far in that direction, but you do need to have something better than the borderline unplayable glove of Jonathan India. And you're right, this is a discussion for another day, but I honestly wouldn't hate exploring some other options there.
Royals and Red Sox, game 3 of that series is tonight in Boston. Pre-game coverage at 5:30 here on the Royals Baseball Network on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. First pitch at 6:10. We're with you until then here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we've got 2 players to profile on our countdown to Chiefs kickoff today, because there are 2 number 30s at training camp. We'll talk about the one who was a draft pick, Brashard Smith, next. Plus, we got Tim Fitzgerald coming up later on, a training camp report with Mitch Holthus at 5:15. We got so much more good stuff to bring you today, live from Firekeeper Golf Course at the Washburn Ichabod Kickoff Classic. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk, 580 WIBW. 3:35 on suddenly a blustery Wednesday afternoon at Firekeeper Golf Course.
Oh, breezy.
It's the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament. Second flight is today. I played in the first flight with an Alpha Media team, and I got to tell you, I'm very proud. I am hitting my driver as well as I've ever hit it in my life.
There you go.
I'm consistently, for me, in the fairway, long, really hitting the ball good. Hitting my irons decently, too. Wedges and putters, hey, let's talk about my driver again.
There you go.
Can we talk about that again? Yeah, it's one of those. It's when you don't play a lot, you don't have that feel. And short game's all about feel.
I believe it.
Short game's all about feel. And you don't play a lot. You don't get that feel when you got other things going on at home that require your attention that are not golf.
Listen, brother, I'm friggin' horrible. So I don't even try. We were talking to some folks earlier. I am not interested in humiliating myself publicly. I do that enough on a day-to-day basis. I don't need to come out here and look like garbage for people to know I'm probably bad at something.
Nobody here is Tiger Woods. I mean, for whatever that's worth to you, nobody here is all that great. Everybody was grumbling about their scores today. So, also, this is a hard course.
Like, lucky to find my ball in the woods.
The thing about Firekeeper is you show up here, you're going to donate some balls to the local wildlife. You know what they're going to do with them. But they're going to have at least probably about a half a dozen, maybe a dozen if you have a bad day. The wind blowing like this, man, I'm glad I'm not playing out there right now.
You have any breeze this morning?
No, not really. It was
just a little rain,
calm until the rain came. We had a torrential downpour there for a stretch this afternoon. We had to go off the course. We had to sit in the cart depot for about 30, 45 minutes. It was better than getting rained on.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And beat getting rained on. Dan Lucero, Brendan Rosinski, Spencer Dupuy with you here on 580 Sports Talk this afternoon. Our countdown to Chiefs kickoff continues. We got 30 days until the Chiefs and the Chargers kick off the regular season, Friday, September 5th in Brazil. Of course, the preseason opener for the Chiefs is this Saturday, a 7 o'clock kickoff at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona against the Cardinals. If you want to hear that game, you can do so on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Pregame coverage at 6 o'clock and the kickoff again at 7 for the Chiefs preseason opener. And a player to watch in the preseason opener will be their 7th-round pick out of SMU, one of two number 30s on the current Chiefs roster, Brashard Smith. Smith only played running back 1 year at SMU. Previous to that, in his college career, he was a wide receiver. And it's that versatility that makes the conversation about his roster spot really interesting, because right now he appears to be solidly behind Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and Elijah Mitchell in the running back pecking order. And sometimes running back number 4 is a spot that feels a bit of a squeeze. It doesn't really take a deep breath until the cut down day to 53 men. But his ability as a pass catcher and his ability in the return game have Brashard Smith feeling to some people that we've talked to and we've listened to, feeling a little more like a lock.
Yeah. Listen, I would keep Brashard Smith over plenty, if not all, other guys who are currently on the roster bubble, the roster fringes. Frankly, okay, who are you keeping, Brashard Smith or Carson Steele? Hey, Carson, thanks for hanging out, but we're good. I'm keeping that guy around. Our buddy Matt Derrick and his podcast co-host Nick Jacobs from KSHB TV in Kansas City, they had a really interesting conversation on their 41's the Mike podcast the other day about Brashard Smith. And Matt asked Nick, hey, what's kind of the situation here? What's your read on it? Do you think Smith is safe on the roster? And Nick was going through, hey, look, you don't just view him really as running back 4, because if there's also discussion, how many wide receivers are the Chiefs going to keep? Are they going to keep 6? Are they going to keep 7? Are they technically going to keep 7, but one of them, Remigio, is really only going to return kicks? What does that all look like? He essentially laid out Brashard Smith is wide receiver 7 for the exact reason that you just pointed out. The fact that he can go and run a legitimate route tree. So often we talk about running backs who are good receivers and oh yeah, they're a great receiver. They can run routes for you. No, not generally. I can think off the top of my head, Christian McCaffrey can actually go run a route tree, but he's not going to run you a full 9 routes. He's going to run, he can run you choice routes out of the slot. He can do a few things for you. You're fine running a slot fade with Christian McCaffrey, but even him, who is among the best ever in terms of running backs who can catch the ball, doesn't run the entire route tree and all the various variations of it. When you've got a guy who legitimately did that in college and high school before that and at camps before that, for their entire career up until last year does have that knowledge, does have that ability. That is very valuable to have. I would rather have a guy like that than Carson Steele, who, again, not to pick on the guy, what's he giving you? Like what is standing out? We had this conversation about Nico Remigio early on in the offseason.
It's the Bobs, from Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you say you do here?
And in the case of some of the other wide receivers, like, okay, Justin Ross had come up at the time, or Nico Remigio. Ross obviously not in the picture anymore. But like, okay, which of those guys would you rather have? Remigio can return kicks, and he's good at it. He added a spark that the Chiefs just did not have last year before he got that job. And Ross was good as a college freshman. Like that's all you get there. So when you're talking about guys on the bottom of the roster in terms of playmakers offensively, would you rather keep a guy who can run straight forward with a handoff and get knocked down after 3 yards one way or the other in Carson Steele, who's a fullback but doesn't really do any fullback things, or a guy like Smith who can possibly return kicks, possibly return punts, who can actually run routes for you? I think there's also a little proof of concept here. If you look at the New York Giants, now they suck. They're terrible. They're going to be terrible again this year. That might be the worst offense in the NFL next to the Cleveland Browns, who are just an abomination of a football team. But Tyrone Tracy had a really nice rookie season. Very similar situation. 3 years of his college career, he was a wide receiver, ends up at Purdue. They say, hey, have you thought about running back? He said, God, no. Do you see what happens to running backs? They convinced him eventually to change. He's not going to the NFL as a wide receiver. He did get to the NFL as a running back, and again, had a very impressive rookie season. And he's going to be a key part of that offense coming up this year next to Cam Scadaboo. So that's what I see for Brashard Smith. He doesn't need to be a 25 carry a game, 20 carry, 15 carry a game guy, but you can mix him in, run all sorts of different combinations of routes from the backfield, from the slot, flex them out wide, do some more modern stuff, not really in the Andy Reid West Coast tree, but you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with him. And I think the fact that you've got that high upside, to me, would make him a lock for this roster. If I was in their position, would not be fretting his spot.
And it's a well-rounded running back skill set that they don't really have with the other guys. Like, Isaiah Pacheco's never really put it together as a receiver. Kareem Hunt at this point is your short yardage back. I don't think that
he's more fullback than Steele is.
Yeah, honest to goodness. Yeah, if the idea behind keeping a fullback anymore, since nobody runs the I formation or the strong I, the Chiefs will bring out that strong I, and it's the most obvious thing in the world. Oh, they're running fullback trap on 3rd and 4th and 1. And they run fullback trap, and they get the yard because the interior offensive line was really good and remains really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, unless you're doing that, like, what do you have a fullback for? Like, what's the point? Well, to be a blocking back, and that was never really Carson Steele's strength, or to be the short yardage guy. Well, Kareem Hunt's going to be that guy. If they need 3 yards down near the goal line, he's going to be the guy that they lean on for that. Elijah Mitchell's got that home run potential if he can stay healthy, which unfortunately for him, he's never really been able to do. But he adds that element of explosiveness, but it's not the same kind of explosiveness that Brashard Smith has. That's the guy who could potentially take a swing pass and take it 60 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy who could take a delay or a screen and pop that one for a huge explosive play. And those explosives missing from the Chiefs offense last year, he's the guy, the kind of guy who really gives you an opportunity to add that element. And I do. I think he's going to make the team. I feel like, I don't know that I would call him a lock just yet, but certainly would lean in the direction that they would keep 4 running backs and not keep the fullback Steele. And I think he's got a chance to be their kick returner too if Remigio doesn't make the team.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible too. Although I think Remigio is going to make it as well, to be frank with you. But you run into these other situations like, okay, well, you need depth at linebacker, you need extra corners or whatever. It's hard to make the roster math work. That's why this is such an intriguing part of the year. But I would be comfortable with Remigio making it as my kick returner, and I would be more than comfortable keeping Brashard Smith as well.
Yeah, I think that it's a combination of guys where you're going to have the thing you don't have is you don't have that guy who is the third down back. Like, you don't have the third down back right now, right?
No.
You don't have the guy who's going to be like Jerick McKinnon was, or like Samaje Perine was last year, where, all right, I'm going to stand him next to Patrick Mahomes, and if they bring the house, I know this guy's picking up the blitz.
Right.
I don't know who that guy is for these Chiefs.
I don't know that they have that guy.
They might not. They really might not at this stage. So,
and that's going to be a big factor too. Like, if Smith can relatively hold his own in pass pro that is going to be useful. If he's getting bowled over every single time there's a free rusher, he's not going to make the team. That is going to be the most important part here, because the other skills are important, and to me, those are good enough to get a roster spot. If he's not going to be able to protect, there's no point in keeping him.
We're going to play a round of one gotta go next. I had to go, apparently, on the YouTube stream. I was the one who had to go. Yeah, the wind playing havoc with our connection out here at Firekeeper Golf Course. But we'll be right back with a round of one gotta go here on 580 WIBW. Play a little one gotta go on 580 Sports Talk. It's a hot day. Been trying to stay hydrated out here at Firekeeper Golf Course near Prairie Band Casino and Resorts. The Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament today, 4-man scramble. And so here are 4 drink options for staying hydrated. And for Brendan's sake, I'll leave soda out of the equation. We know he is not a soda drinker.
Great question for the guy who doesn't drink pop or beer.
Yeah, well, neither of those are part of the equation here. So I'm going with the old reliable bottle of water, the sports drink, or the frozen drink, like the icy or the Slurpee. If you're getting one of those to beat the heat. So it's less of one gotta go than
it's
than
the inverse one.
The pick one.
Okay.
What are you going with? The water, the sports drink, or the frozen drink?
I'm going to go with the water. I've been consuming some throughout the show today. In fact, I'm going to go with the regular old water. The problem with the the frozen beverage is eventually you get that kind of syrupy like aftertaste with it, and it gets kind of sticky.
That
you need
is
to rinse
true.
it down with the water anyway. I'd rather cut out the middleman. And now you tell me we're going to go hit up a 7. We don't have any around here, so it's a free ad, but whatever. Can't go shop here. You tell me we're going to 7-Eleven. I'm going to get myself a sour apple Slurpee. I'm not going to say no, but that's not going to hydrate me the most. The Bedford, the Gatorade, the Powerade, the Sam's Club brand sports drink, if you were at the Lucero household.
Absolutely. We get down with the sports drink.
That's a close number 2. I'm not the sweatiest guy, though. Like, if I work up a sweat, that's the answer.
Bless you.
Yeah. I spent 2.5 hours mowing the lawn. Oh my God, my mower. Oh, I could take the whole rest of the show talking about my freaking mower breaking down the other day. But no, if I'm gonna work up a sweat, I want one of those to rehydrate and replenish the electrolytes. Otherwise, though, just give me the water.
Yeah, I like this.
Better for you. Too.
I like the Gatorade / Powerade / sports drink. I like having a little bit of flavor. So I like to be refreshed with some flavor. So I tend to go with that over water on a hot day. But I'll tell you what, man, especially with being a kid and also being an adult, like if you go hit golf balls or like go to the batting cage or something, that post cage or post driving range Slurpee hit so crazy when I was like 10, and it still hits so crazy now that I'm 38 and I can run to like the Casey's or wherever and get one.
The world was better when you were 10 years old.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what year you were 10 years old when you were 10 years old.
Anything I can still do now and enjoy as much as I did when I was 10. High marks for me. What do you got today?
All right, real quick one. Let's go back to NFL training camp here. 3 of the rookie quarter. Let's go with all 4. McCarthy didn't play last year, but he is going to start this year for the Minnesota Vikings.
Sure.
So I'm going to leave Jaden Daniels and Drake May out because I think they both objectively had good rookie seasons. Daniels obviously was unbelievable. Caleb Williams with the Bears, J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings, Bo Nix with the Broncos, Michael Penix with the Falcons. One's got to go. Who are you putting? And I guess you can factor in team here, environment here. Who are you selling for this year? That no, I'm not buying it. I do not think they're going to get the year 2 bump. I think they're going to hit a sophomore wall.
I know there has been some really appalling practice film of Caleb Williams out there. I still saw what I saw.
I believe in the talent, man.
I still saw what I saw in the Ben Johnson system. I still think it's there with a line that's going to protect him when the rubber meets the road. Nix, I think, is who he is, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think there's going to be a jump for him. Sure. I just think like what we got from Bo Nix is what we're going to get from Bo Nix. And I'm really optimistic about J.J. McCarthy because I think he's in the best possible scenario of those quarterbacks with the best coach and the best scheme. So it's almost Penix by default. I probably would have taken him anyway, even if I take out all the external factors, just because I think he's played the least. Again, he's older, so I don't know how much room there is for him to grow. You add in the Falcon dysfunction, and it's him.
Yeah, and I like Michael Penix. I do. And go ahead, Spencer.
I'm out on J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if you've seen the social media buzz from Diana Rossini. She was on someone's podcast. I can't remember. But apparently the Vikings are trying to be all pro J.J. McCarthy, but all the reporters are saying he does not look good at all in camp. He will be a subpar quarterback this year.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, I can understand that, but here's the thing. Everybody who gets to throw to Justin Jefferson is going to look better. Like, Nick Mullins had at least a half where you thought, like, wow, this guy is competent, and we all know he's not.
Camp film, practice film could not mean less to me.
Plus, the most handsome and most talented men in America all come from LaGrange Park, Illinois, and we know that's where JJ is from.
We know that.
I happen to be as well. So I got to ride with my guy McCarthy, even though he went to NAS and not LT. I believe in the talent with Caleb Williams. Nix has a great environment around him and a coach who is going to put him in good situations. Say what you want about Sean Payton's attitude. It's not good, but he's a hell of a coach. So I think it's Penix by default as well.
We'll take a break, come back and wrap up this hour. 580 Sports Talk next.
Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damage.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
WIPW, Topeka.
30 days to Chiefs kickoff. We already talked about Brashard Smith, but let's spare a quick thought for the other number 30 on the Chiefs training camp roster, Chris Roland-Wallace, who stuck around as an undrafted free agent last season, played some, didn't play too bad. Steve Spagnuolo talked really glowingly about him in his comments in St. Joe earlier today. He might be the 53rd guy. I kind of think he's going to hang around. It might be at the expense of Joshua Williams.
Yeah, there's a little something there. I would not be surprised. Williams had a shot, and he's had some nice moments in Kansas City, but I'd rather take the upside swing with Roland-Wallace.
The versatility as well, his ability to play safety or the slot and to contribute on special teams.
Good special teams player.
Essentially would be the backup to Shamari Connor in that way. Hey, right now, folks, I've got something special for you. I've got a pair of 2-day passes to Rock the Plains this weekend at Tuttle Creek State Park in Manhattan. I've got a pair of 2-day passes to Rock the Plains. If you are caller number 3 right now to 785-272-9429. Caller number 3, 785-272-9429 wins a pair of 2-day passes to Rock the Plains. And we got more 580 Sports Talk coming up after this here on 580 WIBW. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Wednesday afternoon. So glad you're with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. The gang is all here, though we are in different locations today. Dan Lucero and Brendan Dworzinski hanging out at Firekeeper Golf Course, home of the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Scramble today. Flight number 2 in full swing. They should be wrapping up. We are in about the next hour. 5:30 is last call, so to speak. So when we're finishing up, they'll be finishing up Flight 2. Yours truly played in Flight 1 earlier today, so I got rained on, but I didn't have to deal with the wind. So,
yeah.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Peaks and valleys.
And Spencer Dupuis is back on our Huntoon Hill Studios in Topeka, handling things up there as well on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. You just saw him wave to the camera if you are indeed watching on our YouTube stream or on Facebook. We are with you, as I mentioned, until 5:30 when we'll break away for Royals baseball. Royals and Red Sox, game 3 of that series at Fenway Park. Royals will try and salvage one after falling Monday and Tuesday night to a Red Sox team that has now won 7 in a row after last night's 6-2 victory. Michael Wacha on the mound for Kansas City. Dustin May makes his Red Sox debut tonight, the right-hander for Boston. First pitch at 6:10. We'll hand it off to the pregame coverage on the Royals Baseball Network at 5:30. We got an hour and a half until then, and in that time, we've got 2 great guests to bring you still on the program today. Bottom of this hour, we'll talk to Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. Fitz will walk us through everything going on at K-State Camp. And they are now 17 days away from kicking off the 2025 season in Dublin. We are that close.
Almost here.
You see the helmet stripe that it looks like they're going to have.
It's a little Gaelic
themed helmet stripe K-State's going to have on the helmet. I'm really glad K-State won the Rate Bowl last year wearing alternate helmets, because there was no dumber discourse on planet Earth than the K-State can't win alternate uniforms discourse.
Yes, extremely dumb. Extremely dumb.
I'm glad that's over with, because now we don't have to, don't put anything funky on the helmets, you're going to lose. I'm glad we don't have to do
See,
that.
and the thing is, I'm opposed oftentimes to alternate uniforms. Like, I wear your colors, wear your normal stuff. I have no problem with that. But
I agree.
That being said, you're not cursed. You got overhyped for a big game. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
agree with wear your colors. I am a big believer in wearing your colors. I'm talking to you, Iowa State. Black is not a school color. Put that nonsense away. They look ridiculous when they wear the black. It's nonsense that Iowa State wears black.
Yeah, it sucks.
I hate that uniform, I think, more than I hate any other. I hate that almost as much as I hated the time that Notre Dame cosplayed as the Yankees. That one time they played at Yankee Stadium.
I mean, it's the same fan base. I get it.
It is the same fan base.
Iowa State's infatuation with wearing black is such an embarrassment. You have good colors. You have fine. I don't really get Jamie Pollard. I think he is good at some things. I think he is extremely not good at other things. And his infatuation with black, like, dude, you know who loved doing that with uniforms? A school that has good colors, but somebody who was in control of these things, who was just adamant that they wear not team colors that look like crap. Charlie Weiss.
Yeah.
You know what Charlie Weiss hated? Crimson and blue. You know what he loved? Dark gray. That's the camp you're in, Pollard and Campbell. Charlie Weiss.
I don't love KU's black on black either. If we're being fair,
I really don't either.
I don't
the
like
youths love it though.
Yeah, I don't like their the players. Like, at the end of the day, players should be happy with and excited about the uniforms that they get to wear. So Oregon wants to run out 28 different uniforms designs.
Oh, they're stink
change
too.
them at halftime. Like, okay, whatever.
I'll be the old guy about this. Oregon, wear green. Wear green with a big yellow O. Be adults.
They do
wear a regular uniform like adults.
When they go Kelly green and gold like the 70s Oakland A's, it is such a better look than the chrome on dark green on neon yellow that they go
with like speckles on it for some reason. It looks like crap.
Once again, everybody had their best uniforms when I was 10 years old. When you were 10, they were into their Phil Knight era, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but not nearly to the extreme now where they only wear it's like super uber wealthy people who only wear an outfit once, then throw it out. Like, that's what Oregon does with their home games. It's ridiculous.
I want the Achilles Smith era, Mr. Duck on the helmet, playing Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Like, those are the Oregon uniforms I want to see.
I'm fine with Dennis Dixon era, dark green, with just the O. I'm fine with that. That's what I think of when I think of Oregon.
We're doing 580 uniform talk. If you want to weigh in, 785-272-9429 on the text line or the YouTube comments if you're watching on 580 Sports Talk, our YouTube channel. Ryan doesn't like when they put the big bird on the KU helmets. Like the with the big yellow beak. I'm
curious here because I know Ryan's a big K-State guy. Now, Ryan, if you could clarify for us, are you saying when they do just the big Jayhawk head, or are you saying the Jayhawk in just period? I need a clarification here. I prefer the full body. I prefer the full logo.
I like
as opposed to just the head.
See, I like just KU on the helmets. I like the KU.
That is kind of,
I would like to see I'd like to see a 2007 throwback at some point.
It's like 1994, like the June Henley era with the KU.
The
on the
big,
helmet.
thick, fat KU.
Yeah. That's my jam.
The one that's got some girth to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Glenn
it's
Mason
not
era.
not a uniform, but so people listening there's a guy that helps us with our technical stuff. Roy, he is also the technical guy for K-State Sports Network.
Of course,
he I guess was in Manhattan or did something. He got some travel party merch. They have a slick zip, a quarter zip, and it has a clover on the left chest and then the Wildcat logo on top of it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Pretty slick.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. Anyhow,
if he walks by in the studio, Spencer, tell him I want one.
Right.
I'm a K-State fan. I'll take one of those.
Yeah,
that sounds sweet.
I need some K-State to Ireland merch. We'll talk about K-State football with Tim Fitzgerald the bottom of this hour for the Wildcat Wrap-up. Also still to come on the program today at 5:15, another training camp report with the voice of the Chiefs. Mitch Holthus joining us via the telephone. Mitch, of course, brought to us by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. Like I mentioned, you can weigh in on the program today. Want to hear from you in the text line, 785-272-9429. If you are watching on our YouTube stream, again, the name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything but a click and maybe 5 seconds of your time. We all know you got the YouTube app on your phone. Keep your kids occupied at restaurants or keep yourself occupied in the waiting room at Jiffy Lube or whatever. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go do it. It's real simple. And if you're watching the show on YouTube, hop in that live chat because we love to hear from you and interact with you throughout the program. Mark H says doesn't like Baylor's colors. Baylor used to have kind of that, not quite the Kelly green that Oregon had, but they had a cleaner green and gold, like the Robert Griffin III era.
When they wear those highlighter uniforms in basketball, it's awful.
Yeah, the highlighter uniforms are bad. Remember the cummerbunds?
Yes.
Adidas made everyone wear cummerbunds during the NCAA tournament.
Yes, the cummerbund uniforms. Also, remember the tactical camouflage uniforms, some of which had sleeves.
It was around that time Michigan was an Adidas school at that time, and one prominent Michigan blogger referred to Adidas at that time as the only incompetent Germans. And that's how they felt about those uniforms.
I was just listening to an interview with A.J. Brown yesterday, the Eagles wide receiver who's went to Ole Miss for college, but he was from Starkville, where Mississippi State is, and he's like, Mississippi State was an Adidas school. I don't like Adidas. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a basketball player.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan did clarify. He says the beak that's way too long with the black helmet. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I like put the logo on. I don't love just the head personally, but I'm out of touch. Our buddy, our former intern Trenton Craxner, he got into fisticuffs with Jake LeBon one time over the KU black uniforms. So I'm not quite that intense, but I like team colors. I like team colors and regular team logos and be done with it.
In this case, it is the children who are wrong.
Yes.
In this case. Speaking of college
football, if they disagree with me, they're always wrong.
Speaking of college football, CBS Sports, Chip Patterson, and the college football staff, CBS Sports, put out their CBS Sports 136. They have ranked all 136 teams in college football.
Preposterous they put Georgia State at 119. They are at least the 116th best team in the country.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would move the Panthers up. Anyhow,
No, I wouldn't.
number one on the list. Sunbelt Insider Spencer Dupuis is going to have his say.
136.
He wasn't going to let
Actually,
that slide.
Southern Miss 136, Georgia State 135.
So,
Oh, man.
anyhow, CBS Sports did their power rankings. They got Texas number 1, Penn State number 2, Ohio State number 3, Clemson and Georgia rounding out the top 5. The thing that strikes me about this year in college football, when we look at almost all of these teams that are ranked at or near the top, we are putting a lot of confidence in quarterbacks who have not played a lot of college football, or in some cases, any college football.
Yeah, okay, no matter what you think about Drew Aller or Cade Klubnik, by the way, give me the latter over the former, those guys have been around. They have played a lot of college football. There's reason to buy into teams like that. I don't know about you, Dan. I was not exactly overwhelmed by Gunnar Stockton in his limited action at the end of last season for Georgia. I'm an Arch Manning believer. I will tell you that right now. I believe in Arch Manning. I think he's going to be really good. I have no problem with Texas being at number 1. Dude, he's a Manning. Like, when you grow up with that kind of advantage,
It feels like that's what we're saying, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, well, what reason do you have to believe? Because, the stuff he put on tape, there was some good, there was some bad, like you would expect with any, freshman quarterback playing for the first time. Like, okay, what is the primary basis for belief that Arch Manning is going to be good? His last name.
and
That is it, right?
well, if he wasn't a Manning, would he be that good? You can't argue that because he is.
Yeah.
He grew up with every single quarterback-based advantage you could ever want. So I have no problem with that. But Ohio State. Now, the problem with saying Ohio State's not going to be that good, outside of the COVID year, Dan, can you name the last year they didn't win 10 games?
Who's this now?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. The last time they didn't win 10 games. Oh, it was the Luke Fickell year. They went 6-6.
Yes, when Jim Tressel was sent to the Gulag. Yes, it was Luke Fickell, and that was not exactly a normal year for them. You want to go back even further? Jim Tressel in 2004 went 8-4. They went 7-1 in the COVID year, and then the Luke Fickell year when Tressel got fired and suspended. That's it. They are as sure as the sun is going to rise in the morning, Ohio State is going to win 10 games, but
new quarterback. How
I
do
don't think
we know Julian Sayin is going to be good?
We don't. We have absolutely no idea. Go even further. Riley Leonard was only at Notre Dame for 1 year, their 6th year, but he was a veteran. He was at Duke for a long time before that.
They hand the keys to C.J. Carr. Hasn't played a lot of college football.
Alabama, 8th year. Okay, and Alabama obviously they've got players all the time. You buying Ty Simpson? Because I'm not. I'm not really a buyer on him either.
If you go down the list of quarterbacks who you feel like absolutely, I am certain that this guy is an above average college football quarterback. I'm not a Drew Aller fan.
I'm not either.
I'm not a believer at all. I think he's going to get an NFL GM turbo fired.
Would you take Aller or Klubnik?
Right now?
Right now. You're doing a fantasy draft for your 2025 college football team. When you are ready to pick a quarterback, you take an Aller or Klubnik
because he can run a little.
I'm taking Klubnik without thinking twice.
Yeah, I'm not but Penn State went 13 games last year. You can win with Drew Aller as your quarterback in college. I'm not a long-term super fan of his. I don't think he's spectacular.
Having Nick Singleton helps.
You can win with having the best tight end in America last year. Tyler Warren helped, but you can win with him, and you can win with Cade Klubnik. You can win with Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. They're number 9 on this list.
I mean, he's getting number 1 overall pick kind of hype.
Carson Beck did win a natty at Miami, but he was not very good last year.
Yeah.
And
won it while he was at Georgia. Now
Georgia. Yeah, now he's in Miami. And if he were that good, he'd be in the NFL right now.
Cristobal will ruin him.
He'd be drawing an NFL paycheck.
I guess that's not really fair because number 1 overall pick. But
so you get down to number 11, which coincidentally is our first Big 12 team, where you find a quarterback that I am unabashedly excited about, and it's Sam Leavitt.
Yeah.
And that's the first guy on this list where I'm yeah, that's the guy.
It's the ultimate equalizer this year if you're talking about strength of conferences, is that, yes, trench play in the SEC and the Big Ten is better than it is in the Big 12, and I don't really think there's an argument for that. The Big 12 has better quarterback play than the rest of the country. It is deeper and better overall than the SEC is. We went through the Big 10 list a couple of weeks ago. Man, that conference stinks at quarterback. Like, Luke Altmaier is a good player. Luke Altmaier is the third best quarterback in that conference? Best conference in America? Luke Altmaier would be like the seventh best quarterback in the Big 12.
I'm glad you mentioned him because Illinois is 13th, one spot behind Florida, who's 12th, one spot behind Arizona State. Number 14 is where we find the Kansas State Wildcats. Play a quick game here. Avery Johnson or quarterback of the team ranked above Kansas State? Avery Johnson or Arch Manning? I think I might lean Arch.
I'd take Arch.
Pedigree. Avery Johnson or Drew Aller?
Avery. I'm not thinking twice.
Avery Johnson or Julian Sayin?
Avery.
Avery Johnson or Kay Klubnik? A little closer here.
Oh, I'd probably lean Klubnik. I think the ceiling for Avery is higher, but right now I would lean Klubnik.
Yeah, I would as well.
Avery Johnson or Gunnar Stockton?
Oh, Avery, without question.
Yeah.
Avery Johnson or CJ Carr?
Avery.
Avery Johnson or Dante Moore at Oregon? Come on, man.
Yeah, man. And there's so much just assumption. Well, he's a 5-star. He's going to go play for Dan Lanning. Okay. Lots of guys who are 5-stars play for good coaches and stink. Like, I'm taking Avery there.
Avery Johnson or Ty Simpson?
Come on.
Avery Johnson or Garrett Nussmeier? I might go Nussmeier.
That one's close. I'll say that one's close.
I think Nussmeier's good.
Yeah.
Avery Johnson or Carson Beck?
Avery.
Avery Johnson or Sam Levitt?
Honest to God, I lean Avery. I like Levitt, but Avery has been good for multiple years.
Avery Johnson or DJ Lagway?
I will not trust a Florida quarterback. Sorry. he could have all the talent in the world, and he does. He's banged up, by the way, DJ Lagway is. I'm not going to trust a Florida quarterback till I see it.
Avery Johnson or Luke Altmaier? I think
Avery.
you gave this one away.
Avery.
Yeah, like that's where you get excited about what Kansas State's possibilities are nationally, is that you feel better about their quarterback because he's got the pedigree. And I'm sure that I'm not grinding the Alabama tape, right? Practice tape, right? Like maybe Ty Simpson is that dude. Or maybe Gunnar Stockton with a full year under his belt is that guy. Or Julian Sayin is unbelievable right away. Or maybe even some of these other guys on teams that are ranked below Kansas State here, like Bryce Underwood, who's a big deal recruit as a freshman at Michigan. I love Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. Kevin Jennings at SMU was really good until he really wasn't at the end of the year. Can he be more the guy from the first 10 games or the guy from the last couple? Like, that's where you get excited about Kansas State, is that you feel like you've got a player who is a potential difference maker at quarterback in a way that you can't say with certainty other schools have.
That is the benefit that a lot of these Big 12 teams are going to end up having. I think this is a very fair ranking for K-State to start the season. I think they can be better than that. I picked them to win the freaking league. Like, I think this can be a playoff team. I think it is a playoff team. So I think they'll end up higher than this. But I think given the overall talent level of the other teams and the narratives and all that, I think this is – you put them anywhere from about 10 to 15, 10 to 16, I would have said that's fair for K-State. And the quarterback's a big reason why, and the coach is a big reason why. I would take Kleiman ahead of a lot of those guys ahead of him.
No, that's a really good point. Like Kleiman or Billy Napier. Kleiman or Mario Cristobal.
Kleiman or Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
I mean, DeBoer's had a lot of success, but like, how big is that gap? And I like DeBoer, but I don't think it's gigantic. Kleiman or Brian Kelly?
Kleiman.
I think so too.
I don't like Brian Kelly personally.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he killed a kid, don't forget. But like, no, I think that
he's won a lot of games, but I don't believe in him.
No, I absolutely don't.
Kleiman or Mario Cristobal, please.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, be real. Please be real with that. Other Big 12 teams in the CBS Sports Power 136 to start the year. They got Iowa State 19,
That's
Texas
too high.
Tech 21. I'd flip-flop those two. Utah 25, Baylor 26, TCU 31, which is a little higher than I thought they would be. But the more, we talked to people about this Big 12 Media Days. TCU basically did what Baylor did last year, had the hot second half with a quarterback who put up big numbers. Mm-hmm. Just nobody really noticed TCU doing it.
Right.
And so people will notice them in their opener because they're playing at Chapel Bill on a Monday night before the start of the NFL season.
Game. Yep.
We talked about that on yesterday's show. That is a massive game for the Big 12's national Q rating if TCU can go to North Carolina.
Man, that's twice in 3 years that the entire weight of the non-Power 2 is on TCU shoulders. 2 years ago, they got the Colorado game.
Yeah, got by Coach Prime.
Wow, as it turns out, Shedeur Sanders, greatest quarterback ever? No, TCU's defense just really bad.
BYU is 36th. Kansas is 39th. I think that's too high for BYU with the question mark at quarterback. KU, though, that feels about right. They're in the neighborhood with Washington below them, Florida State below them, Minnesota and Duke just ahead. That's the neighborhood of teams that are probably going to win about 7, maybe 8 if everything breaks right, and that feels like where Kansas is.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I think the ceiling for KU is low. I think the ceiling for KU is fringe top 25. I don't think that's outlandish to say. If everything breaks right, could you see this being an 8-win team? Sure, without question you could. Could you see this team sliding a little bit farther than that if things don't break right, or if Jalen Daniels isn't fully healthy? Yeah, that's fair too. But this is firmly in bowl qualifying territory. I think this is fair. I do want to ask, though, 35th on this list is Nebraska. They play early. They play August 28th, a Thursday at Cincinnati. That game's at Arrowhead.
That game's at Arrowhead Stadium, yeah.
You taking Nebraska over Kansas right now?
No, I will not. I am not going to fall for Nebraska again.
I think they're going to be better.
Matt Rule's teams usually are in year 3.
And Rule's a good coach. And I know that Raiola gets so much flack because he just mimics Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I do think he's a talented player, though. I mean, he was number 1 quarterback in the country for a reason when he was a recruit. But I don't think I would immediately buy into Nebraska being better than KU this year.
So other Big 12 teams, Colorado at 46. That seems too high for them. Cincinnati 52.
I'd flip those
53.
two. Yeah, Satterfield. Yeah,
I'd put Houston ahead of Cincinnati. Strictly based on the coaching.
Man, Houston is really intriguing this year. They don't play anyone. They have the easiest schedule of maybe anyone in the Power 4. And a hell of a coach in Fritz.
Oklahoma State 64, West Virginia 65, Arizona 68, UCF 74.
I think that's shortchanging UCF a little bit. Relative to the other bottom feeders in the conference.
I might be inclined to agree. I don't know, man. Like, those are
I worry about Arizona.
I think those are the 4 worst teams in the conference.
I agree.
And I think if you gave those to me in any order, just as long as they were your bottom 4, I'd be listening to you.
I think that's probably fair. I liked Brent Brennan a lot when he was at San Jose State. I mean, he did some really special stuff with a program where it is really hard to win. That is not a program that has a ton of financial and recruiting advantages at San Jose State. That said, that team quit on him halfway through last season.
And I think Arizona wanted to fire him. They made him turn over his whole staff.
Yeah.
It was very clear, like, hey, man, this ain't going to fly.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried about his long-term lookout at Arizona.
Lowest-ranked Power 4 team is Purdue at number 92. Lowest-ranked team in the country, the Wobegon Golden Flashes of Kent State. 136 out of 136.
How bad do you have to feel if you're Kennesaw State, Ball State, Akron, UMass, Kent State? You're below Missouri State, which has never played in game as an FBS member. They are literally brand new to FBS this year, and you are ranked below them.
Delaware is all the way up at 122, and they're new too.
They're kind of a nice program.
They're ahead of the FIU Fighting Pitbulls.
Oof. Yeah. Shout out to Pitbull Stadium.
Delaware, we're like Delaware.
Friday night, their opener against Bethune-Cookman. Is that an island game? Are there any other Friday night games?
No, Colorado, Georgia Tech.
And
that's Friday the 29th. KU Wagner, come on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I get thrown off by the damn week 0.
Yeah. It's week 1. Yeah, Colorado, Georgia Tech. We got to settle the 1990 national title.
That's right. That's true.
Huge game. We'll take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. Tim Fitzgerald coming up in just a little bit. But when we come back, it's another round of What Is Wrong With You on 580 WIBW. It is What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. Do it every day at this time. 2 new stories competing, trying to take down our Monday winner who persists as our weekly champion. The Meat Wall Bandits, 2 gentlemen in Biloxi, I believe it was, that stole $1,500 worth of meat and like 8 buns and some party-sized bags of chips, to individually wrapped chips. And, just took it.
Yeah.
Just took it from the Walmart.
I get it.
Want to have a cookout and didn't think they should have to pay for the privilege. So that is that's the get down there on our story, the Meat Wall Bandits. My story today, we're going to start with my story. We're going out to Lower Moreland, Pennsylvania, where an arrest was announced of 44-year-old Igor Zhumayev for public drunkenness, carrying prohibited weaponry, fighting and issuing terroristic threats at a bar Saturday, August 2nd. According to the report, the bar's management had asked 2 individuals to leave the premises due to intoxication and becoming argumentative. One of them complied. The other was Zhumayev. He returned to the property holding a machete in his right hand and a nail gun in his left hand.
What do I have in my truck that I can use to inflict pain?
Throw me out of this bar. Eat nails, bud.
That's nuts.
He was taken into custody, appeared to be intoxicated, received a whole mess of charges from the Lower Moreland Police Department. Yeah, that's all. That's about all there is to that story. Just the machete
pulling up a nail gun
and the nail gun. That is, listen, that's kind of a wild card. Like,
that's personal.
Yeah, like short of a gun, like gunplay. Obviously, I'm not messing around with any of that, but like, if somebody shows up with like prohibited weaponry,
I've never heard that particular charge before.
A nail gun would be very high in the list of things where I'm like, yep, nope, out of here.
Yeah,
I'm good.
See ya.
I'll pass.
Spencer, what is your story today?
Now we're going to go to Winter Haven, Florida. A man is facing several charges after police there say he stole a car from a repair shop. According to the Winter Haven Police Department, officers received information that a 2016 Honda Civic that was reported stolen was seen in the Winter Haven area around 11:30 p.m. on Monday. The vehicle had been reported stolen earlier in the day when the manager of Gifted Hands Auto contacted the registered owner to see if she had picked up the vehicle since it was not on the lot for the needed body repairs. Police said the registered owner explained that the vehicle had not been authorized to be taken from the lot by anyone other than employees at the shop. When officers found the vehicle in the area in the Winter Haven area, they pulled it over, asked the driver, 27-year-old Christopher Rodriguez, to step out of the vehicle. He claimed that he spoke to a friend named Bubba, who said the business leaves vehicles at the location for homeless people to use. He then told officers that the manager at the repair shop gave him permission to take the vehicle to use to, quote, take care of some stuff until it was no longer needed. Police contacted the registered owner. Basically, they found drugs in the car. Well, suspected drugs.
There we go.
That was tested positive for methamphetamine.
Go.
He was charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and driving while license is suspended or revoked.
Sir, why do you have this car that isn't yours? Bubba told me it was cool.
Yeah, go ask Bubba.
Bubba said it was just taking care of a few things.
That's pretty funny.
Bubba said I could do it.
Bubba said
that wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one today. That's pretty good.
I said beat the Meat Wall Bandits.
No, I
don't
meat
think
theft
so.
Story.
Yeah. In the grand tradition of What Is Wrong With You, a meat theft story once again advances.
Amazing, that's happened multiple times.
Yeah, I'd have 10 cents if I had a nickel for every time. That advances on What Is Wrong With You. We'll take a break, and Tim Fitzgerald will join us from GoPowerCat.com next on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, for the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. We do it every Wednesday at this time. Running a special on VIP subscriptions over at 24/7 Sports right now. Great time to get signed up, get all the best inside info on the Cats from the outstanding GoPowerCat.com staff. Fitz, we're live today up at Firekeeper Golf Course. When was the last time you touched a golf club?
Well, let me see. Other than throwing my old ones away, I'm not going to count that as touching them. I played we used to have golf media day right around now, like a couple weeks before the season when we're doing stuff. And I know it's been a while because Max Urich was the AD because he was on my team. Max, I can't remember when he retired, but we've had Tim Weiser, John Curry, and now Gene Taylor. So, it goes back a long time. And it's amazing. My blood pressure has been much better since not playing golf.
I can appreciate that. I am sure I would probably be a happier person by and large if I gave up golf, but I can't quit. It's too addicting. Fitz, let's talk about your area of more expertise. That is the Kansas State Wildcats. Fall camp still ongoing, and you're hearing from coaches here and there. It was Van Malone speaking today. Always great to hear from Van Malone, and always fun to listen to his press conferences. What stood out, what you heard from the longtime K-State assistant on the defensive side?
Again, nobody is saying this team's great, but there's this underlying confidence among the coaches and players that something's going on here. And he talked about the depth of the team and how they're seeing so many guys step forward. Honestly, I think part of it is guys are getting more reps with the thinner roster. I think the added time in the off season really boosted some strength and conditioning that they needed. And they've done a good job meshing the portal with recruiting to build that depth. And I think they're finally getting to the depth levels that Chris Kleiman has wanted. Now, are there thin areas? Yeah. They don't have an experienced backup quarterback in any way. They'd have to go with someone and have to learn on the fly. Maybe they need some more corners, but we'll see. But I know this. They feel really good about running back, receiver. Offensive line is getting a lot of love, and that's been a big question mark. The end is really deep. And linebackers, there's not a ton of them, but they are very good. It might be the best position group, and safety also has a lot of depth. This team has answers, and I don't think, unless it's quarterback or another position where they're really thin, I don't think they're going to run out of quality players this year, which is often the problem with Kansas State football and other programs that don't recruit at a high level. They can compete with the first and maybe even the second team guys. But when you get down to the third team, it gets kind of thin. I think K-State's overcome some of that.
The defensive line is really interesting because, they still are going to operate out of the 3-3-5 primarily. We'll see some 4-down lineman fronts on some passing downs. But Chris Kleiman told me directly at Big 12 Media Day, look, that's who we are. That's what we're going to keep being. We're going to be in that 3-3-5. So you need that size at defensive end, and you need guys who are big enough to hold up at the point of attack in a 3-down lineman alignment, but also quick enough that you can get around the edge. It can do some damage in the pass rush in those alignments as well. And I know a lot of guys are talking about Ryan Davis, Chidi Obiizor is another guy who's been talked about a lot. Cody Stufflebean's a veteran. They have guys who played, but how important is it that group really take a step forward this year, particularly in the context of losing their most productive sacker, if you will, at the defensive end spot, and Brendan Mott from last year?
I'm not going to call Chris Kleiman a dirty, stinking liar. I'm going to call him a convenient fibber. I think they're going to run more 4-man front than what he's letting on. Not a conversion to it, but I think we'll see it a little bit more often because I keep hearing about guys working out at defensive tackle. We know they've got the nose tackles, but that we were talking to an offensive lineman today, a guard, and he mentioned Chidi. That means he's going up against him in practice. So I think they're working a lot of guys in at kind of a light defensive tackle spot. maybe not the 300-pound guy you might want, but more in the 250 to 265 range. Same alignment they use with the pass rush, but I think we might see it against the running game. That will be something to watch over in Ireland. And I got to say this, if there's Iowa State coaches listening, that I made that all up. None of that's true.
Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com joining us.
If there's Iowa State coaches listening, they're probably not thrilled with earlier when I said that Jamie Pollard and Matt Campbell suck for continuing to wear black. Probably not thrilled with me after that comment.
Yeah, I think they probably turn it off. Would be my guess. They turned it off at that stage.
I need to talk about that for a second. Just change your damn colors. Why don't you just add black as another color to your official colors? And then, can you imagine K-State goes, yeah, I know our colors are purple, white, we use silver, but boy, don't we look good in blue? I mean, what? It doesn't make sense to me. Nope. But
it's ludicrous.
It is. And then we have, it's the generic uniform, and I don't mind them, but couldn't you have something cardinal or gold on that uniform? I don't know. It's not that hard.
Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com, joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. Fitz, what's the level of concern for Gunnar Maldonado's injury? Is he looking like he's going to be a go for week 0, or is there some concern that K-State's going to have somebody else out there alongside BJ Payne at safety, at least for the early portion of the season?
Honestly, I don't know. They're being kind of, I don't want to say sketchy, but low-key about it. Coach Kleiman mentioned he might be cleared by early August. We saw a snapshot of practice. Maybe I missed him, but I could not find him on the outdoor field where the defense was. And I wouldn't recognize him probably on the sideline either, nor did I really look. As opposed to George Fitzpatrick, who is a 6'6", 300-some pound guy with so much hair, it's sickening. We spotted him right away. But yeah, they need him. They do. But I'm a huge Jack Fabris fan. They got to get that kid on the field, and I think they've got other safeties that they feel really good about if Gunner's not quite ready.
You mentioned George Fitzpatrick. He's back among the team. He's not out there practicing. Right. We still don't know, and certainly the details of what happened with him at the end of summer workouts are still being kept close to the vest. But is there some hope, perhaps, that he could get back on the field some point, or would that kind of talk still be premature at this point?
Well, Coach Kleiman said he expects him back. We don't know what that is. He's got to get back out there and practice a little bit. He may not have a left tackle spot to go to when he comes back. He might have been Wally pipped by John Pastore because people are raving about him at left tackle. I don't know. I hope the kid's healthy. Hope he can make it back. This was a huge opportunity for him. He's wanted to start and to have this happen. Interesting in talking to people today, someone used the word incident, not injury. And so I think it was a pretty serious traumatic moment for the team. And hopefully that doesn't wash over him too much, but having him back's got to help, at least mentally, knowing he's somewhat healthy and he's starting offensive lineman at the power level.
A couple more questions for Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk for the Wildcat Wrap-up. We do it every Wednesday at this time with Fitz. Make sure you check out his great work and the rest of his team's great work over at GoPowerCat.com. First of all, Fitz, have you started packing for Ireland yet?
It's funny you bring that up. No, but I've got new luggage.
Okay.
That
is a good first step. That it's good to have something to actually hold your clothes in. That's positive.
Yeah, it's a thought. I'm beginning to over-plan, which I'm not usually a planner, but I'm doing that. I'm hoping to not take a lot of clothing, mostly because I plan on being naked a lot in the streets of Dublin, which is a questionable choice on my part. But I think headline grabbing, and in the spirit of Sydney Sweeney, I want to cause an online controversy so everyone will have product awareness of GoPowerCat.com.
I'm very excited for hashtag Fitz Breaks the Internet. I'm actually really looking forward to this coming up when you get over to Dublin. The first coaches poll of the year came out earlier this week. K-State is 20th in the, what is it, USLBM coaches poll.
That's
Is
right.
that what the sponsor is now?
Yep.
Fair or foul for K-State at 20, Fitz?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. It doesn't really matter. That poll, like everything else, is, I think there was 9 SEC teams in the top 25. Which, look, if you're telling me the 9th best team in the SEC is better than the 6th best team in the Big 12, I'm not going with that. I'm not. I think it levels out after the top 2 or 3 in that conference. It levels out. Hell, the Texas had problems with Arizona State last year. I think it's a lot closer than people want to admit. And I know there's a lot of talent in the SEC. They recruit at a high level, but that is not the sole ingredient to making a good team. And I think the coordinators in this conference are more dynamic. I think they're the ones pushing the envelope. And I think this conference has the best quarterbacks. And that might have been true last year, too. This conference has done a really good job hanging on to quarterbacks, even though everyone seems to be coming for them. And I'm optimistic for the Big 12 this year, but we really do need to see 2 or 3 teams clearly separate themselves, and then maybe all of them sneak into the playoff. I know they're not going to get 3. There's no way. There's no way the committee would do that. But at least get that second team in there would be huge for this conference.
Fitz, unfortunately, I'm putting you in kind of a bind here because this is a question that could get a really long answer, but we're a little short on time.
Okay.
Bud Elliott, who you work alongside, who's over at CBS Sports, does some stuff for 24/7 and their FSU site, does a great job with everything he does. But I heard him on their CBS Sports Cover 3 podcast a couple weeks ago say that he thinks Texas Tech has to be good this year. Essentially, it's proof of concept that if you spend enough, the Big 12 can be as good as the Big 10 or the SEC, and that Texas Tech, for that reason, has got to be good. Do you feel the same way about Tech and kind of the Big 12 at large?
I agree that if they are good, it proves that. But I also know that sometimes the portal just doesn't work the way you think it was, and the pieces don't fit together. Teams aren't individual pieces. Teams are a collection of players. The lines got to work together. The quarterback, receivers, running back have to be on the same page. There's a lot more that goes into it than just talent. Tech's got it. They spent the money. They've done what the SEC fears, and I think that's exactly why they want to change the rules to prevent the Big 12 from getting many teams in, is that if this works, you're going to see other donors around the nation step up at what I'm going to call smaller programs and say, let's do it and see what happens.
Tim Fitzgerald covers the Kansas State Wildcats for GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and joins us every Wednesday at this time for the Wildcat Wrap-up. Fitz, it is always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, boys.
That is Tim Fitzgerald. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this 4 o'clock hour at 580 Sports Talk next. Our thanks again to Tim Fitzgerald for joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, will join us at 5:15 for a training camp report, and then we're done at 5:30 today, handing things off to the Royals Baseball Network. Wrapping up a little early here from Firekeeper Golf Course. It is the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Scramble. Today, the second flight should be wrapping up here in about the next half hour. It's been a wonderful day for golf. Not even the rain could dampen the spirits of everybody who was present today, and I can attest that because I've been here all day. And
yes, you have.
I have been here literally.
I know when you teed off. You
yes.
have been here a while.
Been here all day, and everybody's had a great time. And of course, it's a great event to support Washburn Ichabod Athletics as they head into what should be another awesome year in the MIAA in 2025-26. We need right now caller number 5 to 785-272-9429, because caller number 5 to 785-272-9429 is getting a pair of 2-day passes to rock the Plains this weekend, this Friday and Saturday night at Tuttle Creek State Park in Manhattan. Rock the Plains, 2-day passes, a pair of 2-day passes to rock the Plains. Call number 5, 785-272-9429. Back after this with more 580 Sports Talk. Final half hour of this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk, live on location from the beautiful Firekeeper Golf Course at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort, site of today's Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Scramble. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis with you for one more half hour here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. We are with you until 5:30, at which point we'll make way for Royals baseball. Royals trying to salvage one in Boston against the Red Sox. After losing the first two of the series, Michael Wacha is on the bump tonight against Boston's Dustin May. First pitch at 6:10, pregame coverage starting at 5:30 here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. But in this final half hour, we've got another visit from Mitch Holthus for a training camp report brought to us by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. We also, of course, have our 580 Sports Talk headlines, and we have one more pair of 2-day passes to the Rock the Plains Music Festival at Tuttle Creek State Park in Manhattan coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. One more pair to give away before we sign off the air for good at 5:30 today. So if you haven't won yet, be listening. We're going to give you one more chance.
Which act at Rock the Plains are you most excited to see?
I could not pick a single one of them out of a photo lineup. I thought one of them is Logan Mize. I thought he pitched for the Tigers.
Yes, Logan Mize will be there. I think he'll be there on Saturday. We're working on Saturday.
Yes.
Not at the same time.
No, not at the same time. I will be there from 4 to 6 at our table there.
At some point.
Yes, Spencer will have a shift too.
Spencer's got the night shift. Brendan's got the early shift. I've got the one in the middle. So, yeah, if you're there on Saturday, if any of you listening are at Rock the Plains on Saturday, go by the Alpha Media table and say hello. We'd love to meet you.
Here's what's going to convince you to come. We are right by the beer tent.
Oh, yeah.
We are set up right by the beer tent. So go get your booze on. Come say hi.
Also,
why do you think
on
I'm going?
Saturday, we're giving away grills?
Yeah, we're giving away grills.
Yes, but done by Paul Wall and Johnny Dang. They're going to have your teeth glittering like a Crayola box.
Well, we're talking like
gas grills.
Unfortunately.
Oh, gas grills.
Yeah, sorry.
So not like
Paul Wall will not
open
Paul
up
Wall might be in attendance.
Not open up my mouth and see more carrots in a salad.
By the way, I'll be working while my girl Kat Hasty is on stage, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, there you go.
Her new album kind of sucked, but her old stuff's really good.
Let's get to some headlines. We got to fly through these because Mitch Holthus is coming up in about 5 minutes from now. We got a quick one from ESPN. NCAA revamps governance policy to expand influences of big conferences. Major decisions now by the NCAA's top decision-making body will need approval from all 4 major conferences to pass because the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC, now their vote counts for 65%. And everybody else's vote, every other Division I conference's vote counts for the other 35%. What that means is this. If the Power Four want it done, whatever it is, for whatever value of it that is, it's going to get done. If they want a bigger NCAA tournament, it's getting done. If they want some NIL adjustments, it's going to happen. Whatever the Power Four wants, the Power Four now get. That is the crux of that story and the cliff notes of why that's important.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly more procedural than anything. Those conferences already have more power. This just makes it official, but let's be real. It's been this way for a while.
It codifies the idea that whatever they want, they get.
Yeah, it is. And, whether you like it or not, it's what's happening throughout college sports.
You've got a sports business story.
Yes, a quick one here. This was finalized earlier this week, but NFL Network has been bought out by ESPN. This has been in the works for a while. Spencer's brought this up a couple of times in headlines over time, but ESPN is going to get the NFL Network and Red Zone, for those of you who watch Red Zone every week. In exchange, the NFL is going to get a 10% stake in ESPN. So the NFL now small owner of ESPN. They're also going to get the NFL fantasy product. Here's the thing. NFL.com fantasy sucks. It's a terrible product. Why would you want that? I would have dumped that like a bad habit. Anyway, and various other NFL property can now be used by ESPN as well.
This is a raging conflict
of interest. Yeah, this is like ragingly inappropriate since ESPN covers the NFL, and now like directly the NFL is taking gambling money, which I don't know if is as big of a deal as other people think it is.
Remember when ESPN showed the TV show Playmakers?
Yes, and it got banned.
And the NFL decided that's never happening again. In fact, we're going to own you. You're the biggest thing that you are the biggest entity that reports on us as a business interest. And now we own a piece of you.
Here is the maybe good news to come out of this. Roger Goodell did an interview with ESPN about this and said that ESPN now owns the like concept of the Red Zone channel and can use it for other sports. College football Red Zone?
That would be cool if they could get the other networks to be down with it. If not, then you just get college football Red Zone without the Big Ten, which
you just don't get the SEC or you don't get the CBS games or the Fox games, which that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of properties there. ESPN also getting the rights to the WWE pay-per-views, or the PLEs they're called.
Yeah, they'll be all
premium live events.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay per view anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they will put them all on their direct-to-consumer product, and some of them are actually going to be shown like on cable.
Yeah, so like if you get ESPN, you will now like be able to watch. Like if you get ESPN right now, whether you're paying for it directly or whether you get it on your cable, you can now watch WrestleMania.
Sick.
There you go. Some moves. Spencer, finish off our headlines, please, with another tidbit from Watch List season.
Yes, Watch List season continues. Kansas State wide receiver Jace Brown has been named to the Biletnikoff watch list. If you go back in K-State history, they've had 3 semifinalists: Kevin Lockett in 96, Quincy Morgan in 2000, and Tyler Lockett in 2014, with a finalist being Jordy Nelson in 2007. If you look back last year, Jace Brown hauled in 47 catches for 823 yards and 5 touchdowns. Those 823 yards were the most by a Wildcat since Tyler Lockett in 2014, and the most in school history by a wide receiver. So he's got a junior campaign here coming up that he's going to potentially back up what he did in this freshman or sophomore campaign.
I think he can be a 1,000-yard receiver.
For a handful of years, we've been wondering, where is the number one wide receiver for Kansas State? Where is the guy who is a matchup problem, who can put up the big numbers, have 100-yard games, be the wide receiver that teams have to game plan around? And last 3 games of last season, Jace Brown was like, hey, yeah, that's me, guys. That's you've already got him.
Yep.
You don't need to go recruit him. You don't need to go find him in the transfer portal. I'm him.
Yep.
And he was exceptional down the stretch. Even as rumors were percolating that he was going to transfer, he was all but gone. I think a lot of people, even covering Kansas State, had come to grips with the idea, he ain't going to be around. But
isn't it kind of funny that both KU and K-State have a player like that this year who are going to end up being 2 of the biggest parts of the offense? It was Jace Brown at K-State. Daniel Highshaw was as good as gone at KU.
Yeah. Remarkable stuff. But yeah,
I'm glad they're both back.
Jace Brown, he's a dude, and I think he's going to have a really, really big year for K-State. Well-deserved Biletnikoff Award preseason watch list. We will take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we return, it's another training camp report with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. We're talking about Leo Chanel with Mitch next when we come back on 580 Sports Talk. It is once again time on 580 Sports Talk for a training camp report with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. And these training camp reports are brought to us by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azure Credit Union, where you can contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Naseem Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. Mitch, you teased us yesterday, told us we were going to talk about a defensive player that you were maybe the most excited about for 2025. And when I got the note last night that it was going to be about Leo Chenal, that really got me fired up too, that you're excited about the fourth-year linebacker out of Wisconsin, because I really think that we have only just started to scratch the surface of what Leo Chenal can be as a player, and it seems like the Chiefs may be feeling that way too going into 2025.
They've got to find a way. The Chiefs have got to find a way to get Leo Chenal on the field. Now, I saw something in this camp I don't know if I've ever seen before. If it has, it's been a long time, where Leo Chenal wrapped as an inside defender, like Chris Jones against the offense one-on-one, and then he went out to the edge, like Karlaftis, and then he did that, and then he sprints over to the 7 on the other field to 7-on-7 and makes an athletic, probably the most athletic interception made by a linebacker in this camp. He did it all in a span of about 10 seconds. Leo Chenal is a star waiting to emerge. There just has to be more snaps. He's an outstanding edge rusher. He can play in a two-point stance. He is learning. He's growing. He has been outstanding, at times dominant, and he's better now than he's ever been since he's been a Chief. And he's made the biggest plays that the Chiefs kingdom has forgotten about. But he used the Super Bowl to grow from it, but he is not pouted about it.
New level, new time, new chance, not only for the team, but for you personally. As you go into this season, how do you view it and your role, and have an even more of an expanded role?
I just view it as an opportunity. The greatest thing you can learn from is a loss, and nothing hurts more than losing where we did and how we did. So we all took a good reflection in the mirror, and we let the pain sit with us for a while, but now we're past that. We're past that, all that moping around, and I feel like every single one of us just has that fire. Nobody's sitting here down hanging our heads anymore. We're all ready to go. Personally, I just look back at everything, all the wrongs, all the good that I did last year, and try to improve on that, and make, not necessarily going to get a whole ton of more opportunities this year, but I just have to make the most of the opportunities that I'm given, whether I'm on the line, off the ball, dropping into coverage. I think I have a lot more big plays in the tank, and I just got to prove it.
Yes, he does, and I've seen it. And he's got some of the biggest plays we've all forgotten about. The block-off field goal last year against Denver is like, oh, I remember that one. But you've probably forgotten the block PAT in Super Bowl 58 against San Francisco, which kept it a one-possession game. It completely changed the complexion of that game, and you could argue the Chiefs would not have won it had that not happened. Forced fumble on Christian McCaffrey. Opening drive of Super Bowl 57 by Leo Chenal, recovered by George Karlaftis. The point here is Leo has made more plays than the kingdom realizes. And with 40% more snaps, 50% more snaps in 2025, and again, lining up all over the place, there's more big plays coming from this guy on scrimmage downs and special teams.
In what fashion do you think we are going to see more from Chenal this year? Because he mentioned it as he was talking. There's a lot of different things that he's been asked to do on the defense. Come off the edge, do a little pass rushing, drop back in coverage, play, traditional off-the-ball linebacker stuff. Where do you think there's the most potential to see more from Leo Chenal in 2025 specifically?
I think first would be an edge rusher, which we don't think of him that way. Two would be as a stand-up two-point stance linebacker in coverage and making a splash play in coverage. Like he drops and decoys the quarterback and picks off an interception, maybe a pick six. The ability to cover tight ends. He gave a glimpse out of it last year. Kyle Juszczyk ran a wheel route at 20 yards, and Leo was with him step for step. Way better athlete than he's given credit for. Love it. He's a small town Wisconsin kid, about the size of Smith Center. But he's more athletic than you give him credit for. So, but I'm telling you, this defensive front, if they get a Menahu, Chris Jones, Karlaftis, and then, I don't know, Gelati, Felix. But then if it's Chanel doing it, those four, if you have Karlaftis, Chanel, Menahu, and Chris Jones coming after you, I'm gonna tell you, it'll be the talk of the NFL by Columbus Day. Nobody saw this coming. It'll be mid-October, and I could see that group making a splash that the NFL wasn't anticipating.
Mitch Holthus is our guest. He joins us for our Chiefs training camp reports every single day during training camp here on 580 Sports Talk, brought to you by our good friends at both Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. Obviously, Mitch, Chanel is part of the top three in the linebacker room, along with Drew Tranquill, who I know has been banged up, but he's been great, obviously, in Kansas City. Nick Bolton has been great during his time in Kansas City. You've got Jack Cochran and Cole Christensen and guys, backing up who have been around for quite a while now. You spend a draft pick on Jeffrey Bossa, who was a very productive player in college. Is the linebacker room the deepest room in the Chiefs roster right now?
I think the defensive front is, but the linebackers are not far behind them. And you're going to have a tough cut. Now, where the linebackers are in peril is the numbers game, especially on offense, because this becomes a discussion for probably 2 weeks from now or toward the end of our training camp reports, where are you going to keep 7 wide receivers? That's a lot. 6 is a lot. Or are you going to keep 4 tight ends, 4 running backs? Every time you do that, one of the guys you usually pick off is from the linebacker crew. Not that you want to, but it just becomes a numbers game. You only have 53 that can be active. So, yeah. And then you throw in Chris Bossa, the rookie out of Oregon, who ran Oregon's defense as the green dot and was a 4-year player for them. Outstanding special teams player. He's in there. Cam Jones has been around. Christensen made the big play in the fake punt against Buffalo. It's also the linebacker core is one that the practice squad comes into play. Now, you don't want to get somebody to claim them. You lose them that way. But if you put them in the practice squad and they're one of the unprotected practice squad players, you can move them up and down. For example, Cole Christensen can be moved up and down 4 times before you have to add him to the 53-man roster. So the linebackers are in peril of getting knocked off the 53 because of the offensive numbers game. But they become probably your, some DBs, but your linebackers become your most valuable up and down special teams guys and up and down practice squad special teams guys any given week. And that's why the depth at the linebacker position is important. Cam Jones, Christensen, as I mentioned. Then there's some young guys. Cooper McDonald is a rookie out of TCU, and Brandon George is a rookie out of Pitt. I say rookie. He's older than Felix Ndudike-Uzama, who's been in the league already his 3rd year, and he's almost as old as George Karlaftis. So he's one of those COVID players, wow. But he's really good. He's really good. So look for him, 50 and 59 in the preseason game on Friday night. Loaded, 9 guys. You want to keep them all. There's going to be some up and down practice squad activation. Teams maybe trying to pick them apart, but linebackers are a really fun group to watch. So they're right there, but I think there's more defensive edge guys on this team. There's 2 teams worth, 2 franchises worth of edge guys on this Chiefs team.
Do you think we'll see as much Chanel on special teams this year? I mean, he has played a lot of special team snaps in the first 3 years of his career, nearly 300 of them last year. Back in 2023, he went over 306 special team snaps, in fact, and he's good at it. I mean, he's a core member of Dave Tope's group, Mitch, but with the increased role he's going to have on defense and being expected to be a contributor on defense, do you think we'll see a little bit less of him on special teams this season?
No, I think he's going to be out there. And I think he's going to be 4 core, and I think he's going to get more defensive snaps, but that won't take away from his special teams. I think they're looking at, so let's take it, I was looking at the snap count, I want to get this right, like the other day. So you mentioned his special team snap count, but he only had 443 scrimmage snap counts, which is not very many. When you could take into comparison the 783, I think that Tranquill had. So my point here is the fact that Leo had 445 scrimmage snaps. Drew had 798. All right, just keep those numbers in mind. I think if you get Chanel snaps up to 600, even 650, that's not going to take away from his special team snaps. He's going to be out there more on defensive plays, but he'll also be out there on special teams, which is why I think somebody's going to see the value in this guy. We got to play him. We got to pay him, try to get him back, because Chanel is on the cusp of being a star.
Mitch, we got about a minute here with Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us for a training camp report presented by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. It's an interesting decision the Chiefs are faced with. That 2022 draft class, obviously, still making waves for the Chiefs, and they've had some young players in the past who they've given those second contracts to. Mike Dan is a player who got a second contract, not being a first-round pick. Obviously, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith got their contract extensions. As Leo Chanel enters this year as a contract year, you've seen contract year bumps happen across the league. Is that maybe even a factor for Chanel as he goes in knowing that he's got an opportunity to raise his value, not just in the sense of to his team, but also potentially to his next contract?
Well, I think that he may think about it, new daddy, and maybe sits at the kitchen table and talks about it, but it does not occupy. He's trying to be really good, and he knows that, and he's been around enough guys in this camp that takes care of itself if you're really good. And so either the Chiefs pay or somebody else will. So I don't think it's on his mind all day long to think that, and that's the way it's going to be. He's got his head on straight. And he can be a leader. He could be a backup green dot for Bolt. He can play the Mike, the Will. I'm just in love with the dude, and he is doing more and more every day, which is why I'm trying to feature him in this way, in this light. But I don't think he's sitting there going to be just freaking out over the contract. He'll get paid. Somebody will pay him. I hope it's us.
Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joins us daily for training camp reports. They are brought to you by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azura Credit Union, where you can contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Naseem Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. Mitch, can we get a taste of who we're talking about tomorrow?
Well, he's already on the well, let's just put it this way. He played 1,117 snaps last year and didn't allow a sack. We'll leave it at that.
All right.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for the time, Mitch. We'll talk tomorrow.
All right. See you guys.
That is Mitch Holthus, and that is going to wrap up 580 Sports Talk for this Wednesday. Thanks to the folks at Firekeeper Golf Course for hosting us, the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic. We appreciate you so much and appreciate getting a chance to play this outstanding course today. And you got to come play it. You still got plenty of good weather here in the month of August, September to come up and play Firekeeper. Before we wrap up, I promised one more pair of 2-day passes to Rock the Plains at Tuttle Creek State Park in Manhattan this Friday and Saturday. First caller gets them. 785-272-9429. First caller gets them. 785-272-9429. Royals baseball coming up next. We're back with you tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan, and this was 580 Sports Talk. Good night.